Good evening. Our passage for this evening is found in Galatians chapter 1, verses 15 and 16. It pleased God, who separated me from my mother's womb and called me by his grace to reveal his Son in me. Have you ever thought about what pleases God? In this passage, we are given direct information as to something that pleases God. And that is that his Son is revealed to the world through our lives. He is pleased whenever he looks down upon us and he sees as his image bearers people who reveal Christ to the world. As we reveal Christ in us to those around us. As we live our lives and we seek to make the world a better place, to enrich other people's lives, we show compassion and love and mercy. We extend a helping hand. We feed the hungry. We clothe those who do not have proper clothing or things to keep them warm. We give that cold drink of water to the person who is thirsty. In between what pleases God and the answer, that is to reveal his Son in me, we are also given in this passage two very interesting concepts. One is it says that he is the one who separated me from my mother's womb. And so we not only believe in creation, but we also believe in the sanctity of life. It is the responsibility of all of us to protect life and to consider it to be precious. But also, when we think about this particular verse, he is the one who separated me from my mother's womb. And he is the one who is there in the process of the birth of the individual. He's the one that causes it to take place. So not only do I see his handiwork in my life in creating me, but also it's kind of a debunk, if you will, of evolution, because at the very beginning, with the very first person, there was this ability to reproduce. And so it wasn't something that could have evolved over millions and hundreds of millions of years. We had to be able to reproduce right away, or there wouldn't have been any more of us. And so he is the one that gave that ability to the human body because he's the one that created it. And to those who believe in creation, that's an easy concept to understand. But if I didn't believe that, how is it possible that a human being is able to reproduce if they didn't have all of the abilities to conceive and then to reproduce and to have the child? All of that had to be there from the very first human being. Otherwise, we don't have another human being or the continuation of the human race. And so I found that interesting as it gives us proof, if you will, evidence of creation, and also that it is the Lord who has created us, and he created Adam and Eve, full human beings, capable of conception and reproduction right at the very beginning. And then it says that he called me by his grace. The Lord is the one who calls me out, if you will, into the world. Whenever it is time for the woman to deliver, that time is coming. And whether they're ready or not, and I can remember full well our first child, he came almost a month early. And at first I was thinking there's no way that this could happen because it's not time yet. But it was happening. And indeed, he was born early because it's the Lord's the one who calls us. But not only does he call us into physical life, but then he calls us to spiritual life too. And he has that call upon every person, just like every person is born. And the process that takes place is a natural process. And the Lord calls human beings into this world. But he also calls us into the spiritual world. And for everyone, there is that call to come and to accept Christ and to put your faith and trust in him. And so God is pleased in that what it did was to please him that we would be conceived, that we would be delivered, separated, if you will, from our mother's womb, and we're called into this world to live. But then it also pleases him, perhaps even more so, whenever we answer the call to be born again, to be born into the spiritual kingdom. So God is calling each of us, and I hope that you will answer that call into his spiritual kingdom. Thank you for listening.